first one is called On the Outskirts of Belonging. In my youth, I often wondered why I was born so different and how it could be seen as a problem when all I ever wanted to do was live. I didn't have a choice in how I was designed, constructed from chromosomes, heredity, and family medical history. I don't fit these shoes I was given, the ones given me by society, all the standards they expect, not appreciative of my uniqueness. So I started to work on becoming the truest I could be. The pitfalls were many, the rewards were worth it. When you are made to feel ashamed for standing out even a little, that's when you know you're on the outskirts of belonging. You can find your groove just by being you, the only you that you know how to be. Okay, that's the first one. And then I've got the second one, which is called Musings of a Wednesday's Child. I was actually born on a Wednesday, hence the title. So here goes. Musings of a Wednesday's Child. Here it is, standing on the verge of all your dreams. It's taken a long time to get here, as was often doubtful you even would. And was often doubtful you even would, sorry. You stood firm, refused to quit, showed the world who you were, never apologizing for your identity when all around you there were haters. The learning came at a price for you, yet you never faltered once, even though I know you often wanted to. I always believed in you, even when you didn't trust yourself. I'm proud of the person you are. In fact, I always was. Okay, that's the second one. Those two are very, very recent ones, actually, that I've just done. They've both been written in the last few weeks. This last one, is kind of a bit more generic. It's kind of about having, it's kind of about being blessed with a gift and not quite sure how to handle it. It's called Goals. Get my words out. Goals for the chosen ones. The world expects a great deal more from those of us blessed with unique talent. It can be excruciating to hear their demands burning a hole in our eardrums. So stop, take a breath, remind yourself that you're human. You can't do everything they ask and expect to retain your sanity. You're on a crazy road filled with meandering routes, diversions, signs that you're not in the right place. You must resist the urge to rebel against your blessings, as they are the things that sustain you. It's a lonely place, yet it's also a privileged one. So make the very best of it. Otherwise, it will consume you. And even a great talent like yours isn't immune to vulnerability. Use it to share your message and inspire others to find their niche too. Thank you. Okay, that's my lot.
Thank you so much, Nadine. That was absolutely fantastic.
Welcome.
Nadine,
thank you.
We normally ask people about where we can get hold of your work, but you were telling me that you've had a bit of a sort of hiatus from writing. You haven't really got work to promote. So I'd like to ask you a couple of questions instead. Tell us a little bit about the running. You kind of forewarned me that you might be. You don't look hot and sweaty, by the way, but you forewarned me you might be. What do you get out of the running, and what advice would you give to people like yourself who've been locked down forever?
I would just say just get out and do it, but start slow. And what I actually get out of it is I get a massive endorphin rush. And not only that, it helps me sleep better and it helps me concentrate a lot better as well. So anyone who runs, like on a regular basis will tell you it's not just about running, it's about other stuff as well. It's as much mental as it is physical. Do you know what I mean? So It's kind of like, for me, it's about it's about kind of trying to conquer my demons, if you like, and trying to leave them behind. If you know what I'm getting at, it sounds a bit,
No, I do.
probably a
I do
bit,
understand. And are you
you
following
know.
a
So
particular program, or do you just decide on the day how far you're going to run?
I actually followed Couch to 5K. I did that over the summer of last year. I started it in June, completed it 2 months later, and then after that, um, I then started to just do it regularly by myself. I'm part of a charity run each week, which I do every Sunday, and it's it's just the most, for me, it's just the most, one of the most life affirming things I've done, because I think in the past, I think I'd always been one of those people who wanted to run but always made an excuse. And I think sort of around about the beginning of last year, people, you know, people's words from like the past, whatever, like friends I'd known in the past, I'd actually started to ring in my ears. One person's advice to me in particular was particularly prevalent. I think she said, you can make excuses or you can make progress. You can't do both.
That's a great phrase to use. Can I just change the
You
subject
know,
slightly, Nadeem? Because it's interesting
sure.
you mentioned the start of last year. I know it's just over a
I
year
know what
since
you're
you and
going to
I had a
ask.
drink. You and I had a drink together in the Northern Quarter a year ago last Christmas. But you got
Yeah,
stranded in Pakistan. We won't go into the reasons why you found yourself in Pakistan, but you got stranded there when lockdown came. Do you want to tell us
yeah.
a little bit about that, about what happened and how you got through it?
I just kind of, it was a bit of a shock at first because it was kind of sprung on us, really. I mean, it was the 21st of March. I'd gone over there on the 11th of March. 11th. Well, I left here on the 11th of March, got there on the 12th, early hours of the 12th. And it got to about, and I thought, oh, great, I'm here for a couple of weeks, and and everything. I'm gonna not been here for a while, and I thought I'll just enjoy it. And I was due back on the 25th, but then on the 21st, obviously there was this thing in the news about how the country had gone into lockdown, and it was just kind of very uncertain and very kind of unnerving, I suppose. Um, but I think the way I just got through it was I just thought, well, there's nothing I can do about this. This is an international pandemic. It's a global pandemic, so there's nothing I can really do about it. So in the end, I just kind of got through it just by doing little things, just going and getting fresh air, going for walks, getting some sun, writing, because I did quite a lot of writing while I was over there. Keeping in touch with friends online. Thank goodness I took my phone with me, because otherwise I would have been absolutely lost. And just I think it was my friends that got me through it more than anything else. And there was one friend in particular, who was very, very, who was very, very supportive and kept in touch with me a hell of a lot, probably more than anybody else. I won't mention her name because I don't want to embarrass her. She's very, she's not one for a fuss, but she did help a hell of a lot. And for friends like that, I can't really thank them enough, because people did really get behind me and were really supportive of me, and really wanted to kind of help me get through the time that I was stuck over there.
Nadeem, that's a great message for our Sunday assembly. So I'd just like to say I'm glad you got back safely to be reunited with your lovely cats. And keep on running, keep on writing. And thank you so much for being with us here
You're
today.
welcome, Tony.
Appreciation, please, for Nadeem Zafar.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, we've got an absolutely special extra treat for you today, because normally, those of you who attend assembly regularly, we move on from the poet and we move on to something else. We've got a special bonus poet today, and you're going to absolutely love this, because I thought when we decided we were going to do an assembly themed on kid stuff and involving children, we should try and get our youngest ever poet in the house for this particular show. So her big sister, who's with her at the moment, has been our guest poet during lockdown and was absolutely brilliant. And now we're going to see how she's handed on the DNA to her younger sister. So please give a huge Sunday Assembly welcome to Sarah.
Hello, you okay? Go on.
Sorry, Sarah, yeah, just go ahead whenever you're ready.
Oh, it's like not say what it is. If you want to, yeah. It's called Just a Word, and it's about bullying. It's just a word. That's what they say. It means nothing at all. It can't hurt you in any way. No need to overreact. We speak words all the time. It's not a big deal. It isn't a crime. It's just a word that puts you down, makes you feel miserable, gives you a frown, because that simple word can fill you with tears. It plays on your weaknesses and strengthens your fears. It's just a word that stays with you till the end, all done by someone clicking a button that says send. It can make someone insecure, make them change as a person. It can ruin their life and their problems will worsen. It's just a word that makes people feel bad for things they can't control or an interest they had. It could be the way they look or the way they dress, but for some reason people view them as less. It's just a word that can shatter someone's heart. It can crush their dreams, yet you still think it's smart. You say horrible things because it makes you feel good. Just because you find it funny doesn't mean someone else would. It's just a word that never goes away. Physical pain ends, but that word will stay. It will stick with them for as long as they breathe. They didn't deserve it. The pain will never leave. It's just a word, that's what they say, but they don't know until it happens to them one day. Because one simple word can change your life. The pain will hurt and cut like a knife.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I know that you wrote that poem because you were upset about some people bullying you in school. So all I would say about all those people who bullied you wouldn't have the courage to do what you've just done and read an absolutely brilliant poem written by yourself with all these wonderful people watching you. So absolutely superb. You stuck it to the bullies by getting your own back through words, and that's the best way to do. Keep on writing because you're absolutely brilliant, darling. Well done. Huge round of applause, please, for the fantastic Sarah. Okay, so we're going to move on to our guest speaker today. And as I said, the theme is on kid stuff, and I'm afraid I owe our guest speaker an apology because we both did stand-up comedy together maybe 20, 21 years ago at places like the Comedy Balloon and the Frog and Bucket. And one of the things we both dreaded as stand-up comedians was having to follow somebody absolutely fantastic who'd absolutely took the roof off and done something brilliant. So with massive apologies, Dom, for making you follow the wonderful Sarah, I would like to hand over to our guest speaker today, stand-up comic, after-dinner speaker, and children's entertainer. Please give a huge welcome to Dominic Woodward.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's an absolute pleasure to be here speaking to you this morning. And again, can we give it up for Tony doing an absolutely fantastic job as a host? Give it up for Tony. Do you know what? Like he says, I've known Tony for 20 years now. It was 2001 when we first worked together. So 20 years I've known that bloke. And let me tell you, I've known him 20 years and he is the type of guy, you know, if you lent him £1,000 and didn't see him again, you'd think that was money well spent. So thanks so much for that, Tony. Thanks so much. So yeah, my name's Dom. I'm a comedian and a kids magician. And people always say to me when I tell them I'm a magician, they say show us a trick. So I'll show you a quick trick today. So I am going to need someone to help me with this. So I'll tell you what, we'll pick somebody. We've got Stephanie there, Stephanie Pollard. Can you take yourself off mute there, Stephanie?
Hi.
Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm very well, Stephanie. I do like you, Stephanie. I can see you got all dressed up to come to the meeting this morning, didn't you? And then change your mind at the last minute, which is fine. We don't mind that, Stephanie. What I've got here, Stephanie, is I've got a bucket, right? And inside this bucket, Stephanie, I've got this, which, Stephanie, it's an invisible deck of cards. Can you see the cards, Stephanie?
Yes. No.
You're crazier than I am. Okay, Stephanie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw you this deck of cards through the internet and I want you to catch it. Are you ready, Stephanie?
Ready.
Here we
ready.
go. 1, 2, 3. Catch it, Stephanie.
I got it.
Fantastic. Give Stephanie a great big round of applause. Well done. Now, Stephanie, I'm going to keep the bucket in view all the time, but what I want you to do for me, Stephanie, now is could you shuffle the cards for me? Give them a shuffle, Stephanie.
All right.
So everyone can see it. Keep your hands
Gonna get on the table here. You know, I gotta do a little arch shuffle. You know, like the pros do. Okay, all right.
We can't see it, Stephanie, but that's fine. What I want you to do is hold your hand up, nice up to the camera there, Stephanie, and I want you to put the deck of cards on your hand, Stephanie, face up.
It's on. Yeah. Oh, I'll turn the deck over. Yeah.
That's fine. That's great,
right.
Stephanie. Now, what I want you to do, Stephanie, is I want you to spread the cards out along your hand so you can see all the cards.
Oh.
And then, Stephanie, I want you to choose one of those cards, Stephanie, but don't choose one like the Queen of Hearts or the Ace of Spades because everyone chooses them. Choose a different one for me, Stephanie, and pull it out the deck.
Got it.
Tell everyone which card it is, Stephanie.
Oh, 3 of clubs.
The 3 of clubs. Fantastic. What I want you to do with the 3 of clubs, Stephanie, is turn it upside down and place it back into the deck. And then give them another shuffle, Stephanie.
Okay, all right.
You're doing a good job, Stephanie.
All right.
Okay. What I want you to do is throw them, put them back in the box. Quickly put them back in the box.
Oh, okay.
In the box, Stephanie.
All right. Yep.
Fantastic. Now I want you to throw them back to the internet and I'll catch them in my bucket. Are you ready, Stephanie?
I'm ready.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Throw them, Stephanie. I'm fantastic. I've caught them in the bucket. What I'm going to do, Stephanie, I'm going to click my fingers and that turns them into a real deck of cards. It gets better than this, Stephanie. What was your card that you chose?
3 of clubs.
And what did you do with the 3 of clubs, Stephanie?
I put it face down in the deck, so all the other ones are face up.
Face up. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cards out now. Hopefully, Stephanie, if this has worked and you've done it right, okay, one card should be the opposite way to the rest of them. If we look there, Stephanie, one card is the opposite way around to the rest of them. And if we take this out, Stephanie, hopefully, would you be impressed if that was your card, the 3 of clubs?
I would be impressed.
Of course you would, Stephanie. Look at that. Are you having that, Stephanie?
Brilliant, Stephanie. Brilliant, Stephanie. How did you do that?
She's magic, aren't you, Stephanie? You're magic.
I am.
Absolutely magic. So, Stephanie, thanks very much, Stephanie.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm a comedian and a magician. I started comedy. Basically, I'll take you back to 1996, which was when I started my journey. 1996 was the end of my A levels, and I just got into Leeds University to do law at Leeds University, and then I made the odd decision of not going to Leeds University to study law. I took a junior business management course at McDonald's, which is an interesting decision. And I then spent the next 2 years training to be a manager at McDonald's and learning how to coordinate people, products, and equipment to achieve a smooth running, profitable business operation with 100% customer satisfaction. And the fact that I can remember that some 25 years on just shows you what my indoctrination was like. So I did that to 1998 and then spent 2 years as an assistant manager at McDonald's, and it ground me down. So late in 2000, I made a last minute decision to apply to university, and I got into a university. I got into Salford University. I don't know if there's anyone. Oh, we got a thumbs up there from, is it Leisha? Did you go to Salford University, Alicia? No, but you've heard of it. You've heard of it. Fantastic. That's the first thing she's heard of so far today. Oh, we got another thumbs up there from Judith. Judith, did you go to Salford University? Good. I went there as well because, I mean, it's not always been called Salford University. Do you know what it used to be called, Judith? The Early Learning Centre. And then the decided that was a bit patronising. But I did Salford University. I did performing arts at Salford University. I wanted to be an actor. And then beginning of 2001, I woke up with a hangover actually on New Year's Day. And I stood having a shave in the mirror, and I just started talking as a character. It was a little bit like Alan Bennett, and it was a comedy monologue, this character. And I just wrote down about 10 minutes this monologue and went down to the Frog and Bucket in Manchester that does an open mic night on Monday night. And I tried out this character. And it went okay. I had no plan to do stand-up comedy as such. So I did this 4 weeks on the trot, and I noticed that everyone else, people, you know, there's loads of people going down, people trying stuff out in those days, new starters. We had a guy called Des Sharples who used to go down a lot, who Tony will know. We had Tony himself who used to go down and do his stuff, and Joe Dakin. And I was the only one really at the time of those 4 weeks that I'd gone down doing characters. So I decided on week number 5 to do it as me, just to go down as me. And the host was a guy called, you probably most you know him, Justin Morehouse. Do you know Justin Morehouse? I think you've had him on, haven't you, Tony? You've had Justin on. So Justin Morehouse was the host, and I went onto the stage. I'd written this set, and I forgot every single word of it, literally everything. So I just had to go to the mic and go, I forgot it. And that got a little bit of a laugh. And I went, no, seriously, I forgot everything. And that got a laugh. And then I just had to walk off the stage because I did not remember the thing. So Justin very kindly came up to me and said, look, the thing you said got a laugh. He said, so why don't you take a list on with you? I said, I can't take a list on. He said, of course you can. Just have it in your back pocket. All your jokes in your back pocket. If you need it, take it out and look at your list. You're not a professional. It's fine. And had Justin not said that, I wouldn't, because I stood there thinking, I'm never going to do this again. And if he hadn't said that, I wouldn't have gone back. But I did. I went back the next week, had a list in the back pocket, didn't need it because I remembered everything, and it went okay. So I spent the next 3 years doing my university course and traveling all over the country doing open spots. I'd drive up to Newcastle for a 10-minute open spot, because that's what we do when you're starting out in comedy, because it's the only way you can get the stage time. And then by the end of university, I was kind of earning a bit of money out of it, which was great. So I was by that time working at a bookshop in Oldham. They have a bookshop in Oldham, the Waterstones in Oldham, and I was doing the comedy, and I did that for about 12 years. And then after 12 years, I was doing a gig at the Spa Theatre in Bridlington, and I was closing. I was headlining, and the guy who was doing an open spot, just a little 5-minute spot, was called Paul Kitchen. And I was chatting to him, and I said, what do you do? And he said, I'm a kids entertainer. This is Paul Kitchen, by the way. Yeah. I don't know which way to point that way. That's Paul. And he was doing an open spot, and he said, I'm a kids magician. He said, I'm really busy. I said, He said, yeah, every weekend I'm mowed out doing kids parties. And I was driving home, and I thought to myself, I could do that. I could definitely do that. So I announced to my wife, I said, I'm going to become a kids magician. And she said, I don't really know about that. I said, no, I'll get some business doing this. And so that's what I decided to do. So I didn't know quite how to start, but I went online and was searching around online for ideas and just typing kids entertainer, kids magician in. And I came across this guy. This is Mike Clark. And Mike has got a great name as a magician. He's called Magic Mike. I think he thought of that name before the strip group came along. Alicia's getting excited now. She don't know what's coming next, do you? It's not that Magic Mike. Don't worry, Alicia. Yeah, so I came across him he'd done a little course actually on being a kids how to be a kids magician. And I got 3 things from Mike Clark. First of all, I got the germ of an idea of a persona for me, which is Wacky Woody. And I got a sponge ball routine. Sponge ball is very popular with kids magicians, and it's one of those where you get a sponge ball and you put it into this hand and then disappears out of that hand and reappears in the kid's hand. So he gave me an idea for that, and he gave me the name of a company called Practical Magic. And so I called up Practical Magic and got chatting to this guy. This is Jeremy. And Jeremy owned Practical Magic, and he gave me loads of ideas about what to buy to be a kids entertainer. Sadly, Jeremy died in 2017. But a lot of the things I still use today I bought from Jeremy. So yeah, I got all this stuff through the post, and I started to get together a kids show. and I didn't really know where to try it, but my brother is a Beaver Scout leader in Stockport. So I asked him if I could go down and try out this 20 minutes idea that I'd had for kids magic. And I went down there, and it was basically like doing an open spot with comedy. I did this to the beavers, 20 minutes, and it went well. It did go quite well. And the next day, all the other beaver groups in Stockport, his one's Offerton, but all the other beaver groups just got on the phone saying, "Are you coming down doing free magic shows?" And so I said, "Yeah." And I went down and I did every blooming beaver group in Stockport, Cheshire, and all of them. I was doing it like a few nights a week. And after about a month, I'd got together quite a decent 45-minute magic show. And I thought, right, I'm ready to go and do parties. And so that's what I did. And I went and started doing party shows. So that's how I got started. That's how I went from being an adult stand-up comic, doing all things like the Frog and Bucket, Rooms Above Pubs, the Comedy Store. I did a lot of jonglers at the time, so it was all adult stuff, and certainly places like the Frog and jonglers, it's all stag nights, it's hen nights, it's office parties, it's a sweary, rough and tumble environment, and jonglers was really, really quite rough. And I switched over to doing kids shows to mainly 5-year-olds, because 5-year-olds is the bread and butter group. So I suppose the question is, what makes a good kids magic show? Now, the first thing I'll tell you, what makes a good kids magic show isn't magic. Okay, you might be surprised by that, but it's not, because 5 years old is my bread and butter. I get far more. I probably get 75-80% of my parties are for 5-year-olds, and I didn't realize till I had kids myself the reason that is. It just didn't click with me, and it's because it's the reception age. So you go to reception at 4, and all your birthday parties in reception are for 5-year-olds, and of course nobody knows everybody. They haven't got those proper friendship groups yet, so people invite the whole class to the 5th birthday party. And also, you've got the thing that this is the first birthday party that the parents are throwing for all the schools, so they want to try and impress. And certainly with the middle class mums, there's a bit of one-upmanship there. Let's see what we can, let's see how much we can spend on our kids' birthday party and show everyone. So you get a lot of 5-year-olds' birthday parties, and then from 6 and certainly 7, 8, 9, that kind of stops, because they have little friendship groups. So they've thrown that big one. And also, of course, it's 30 kids plus other friends. So the parents go, what am I going to do with 30 kids? We're going to need a bloke to control them or a woman to control them. So they book a magician. And then after that, they tend to have smaller parties. And certainly once it becomes to 8 and 9, they do things like go to the cinema, or certainly they used to before COVID, and things like that. Having said that, when I do get a 9-year-old party, they're the best ones, because they're a bit more clued up and you can do a bit more with them. So yeah, 5-year-olds, it's not about magic, because on the whole, 5-year-olds don't really care that much about magic. They might go, "Oh, that was good," but they're not that bothered about magic. And the reason is that adults are always doing things that they can't do. You know, they can't drive a car, they can't open a packet of crisps, they can't, really make a sandwich or do some toast or things like that. So if you do a magic trick, it's just another thing that an adult can do that they can't do. So there's a classic thing in magic, is cut and restore rope, which you get a piece of rope, you cut it and you make it back to one piece of rope. On the whole, the average 5-year-old will go, that's good. Is that not what adults can do with pieces of rope when they cut them? They're not that bothered about it. So what do you do? And this is one of the things I had to learn. If you're doing something like that, you have to put in a long middle, because with kids magic, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Okay, and it's the journey that you make funny, and that's what gives them a good time. That's what gets them excited, and that's what gets them talking about it afterwards when they go home. Even if they've been to someone else's party, they'll say, "Oh, the magic, it was absolutely fantastic. It's really, really funny." And they don't say it's really, really amazing. They say it was really, really funny. And if you can make it funny, that's what gets them excited, and that's what gets the parents desperate to book you. And it was when I realized that I realized I wasn't that good at magic, but what I did have was 12 years experience on the comedy circuit, and that was invaluable. So I suppose the question is, what's funny to kids? Now, the brilliant thing about kids compared to adults is on the whole, it's not all the time, but on the whole, kids laugh at the same thing. Adults don't. Adults seriously don't. I did a Zoom show on Friday night, very working class, all people from like Huddersfield and Halifax. And they laughed at one thing. I did one last night, which was mainly people from Cambridge. They were all teachers and doctors. And the difference between what those two groups will laugh at is stark. And, you know, you've got to work it out, and you've got to work it out quickly. Whereas kids, thankfully, they all basically laugh at the same thing. What makes a 5-year-old laugh in Stockport from a middle-class family, what will make them laugh will also make, you know, a kid from a council estate in Eccles laugh. And that's the big thing. So what does make kids laugh? First of all, persona. So the persona that I kind of developed is a little bit of a cross between me, a little bit of Magic Mike, who we talked about before, and a bit of Jim Carrey. And the reason why I've put a bit of Jim Carrey in is for two reasons. Is the kids don't know him, so they don't know I'm stealing off. The adults remember him, and they like it because they do know who I'm stealing off. And the thing is that Jim Carrey is all about exaggeration, and that's what kids laugh at. They love exaggeration. They love oversized things, oversized props. That's a standard in comedy. Things that are made bigger are funnier. They laugh at repetition, and they laugh at something we call magician in trouble. The magician has tried to do some magic, they've encountered a problem, and now they're in trouble, and that's funny for a kid. And then the big thing that I use more than anything is called look, no, see. And that's when something's happening here that the magician can't see, and the kids are screaming at you that it's happening. You look and it stops happening, and kids love that. I'll give you a quick example of that, actually, just to move on. I'll give you a little quick example of this. This is my puppet, actually. I don't do ventriloquism because I'm too lazy to learn it, but this is Robbie. Everyone say hello, Robbie. Hello, Robbie. Now, Robbie, would you like to do a magic trick with the boys and girls? Yes, okay, we'll do a magic trick. I'll tell you what, we're going to do a magic trick with Robbie and this silk handkerchief. Now, could everyone take your mics off mute? Everyone take your mics off mute. We'll get a bit of a show going on here. Everyone take your mics off mute. Angie, take your mics off mute. Esther, take your mics off mute, love. Is it Misky? Take your mic off mute, fella. Charity, take your mic off mute. Okay, so we've got a handkerchief here. Can anyone tell me the colour of the handkerchief?
Blue.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Of course, it's a blue silk handkerchief. Any opportunity to get kids shouting out is great for kids' shows. So what we're going to do, I've not done this trick actually for about 12 months, but we're going to get the blue silk handkerchief, and I'm going to give that to Robbie to hold. So Robbie's got the blue silk handkerchief in his mouth, and over in the box here, we've got a red one and a yellow one. So we've got yellow and red in the box. The one that we're going to use first is... Oh, where did that go? Where did it go? Did anyone see where it went? Where did it go?
He ate
it. Robbie, they said you ate the silk handkerchief. Did you eat it?
He did.
You're a liar.
No, he said, he's saying, no, I didn't eat the handkerchief.
Yes, you did.
Because we've got this one. What colour is this one?
Red.
Red. And we're going to take the red silk handkerchief and give it
It's not on. The camera's not on.
So Robbie's got
That's
the red silk handkerchief in his mouth, and over in the box over here, we've got a yellow.
Did that one
What's eating that handkerchief?
Robbie.
Hands up who saw him. Hands up who saw him.
I saw him.
Oh, why didn't you tell me?
I did.
It's lucky we've got one left. What colour's this one?
Yellow.
Now I'm going to take the yellow silk handkerchief and give it to Robbie to hold. Now, Robbie, you're not going to eat this one, are you? It says no. I'm going to keep my eye on him and make sure that he doesn't. Okay, this is the story of the trick. Watching you. The other day, me and Robbie went on a walk. And we went up a hill. At the top of the hill was a tower, and we went inside the tower. It was dark. It was dank. There were steps, and slowly, Robbie and I started to climb up. You've eaten all the handkerchiefs now. There's none left. What's left in the box?
Nothing.
What's left in the box?
Nothing.
You've ruined it now. You've ruined the show. You've ruined the party. You've ruined Tony's birthday party. Bad dog. Bad dog. Naughty dog. Bad dog. You're a bad dog, and none of the children like you. Like him, do you?
Hungry.
What?
We love him. He's great.
You like him, Tony?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, Tony likes you, but nobody else likes you. The rest of them don't like you. You don't like him. Ange, do you like him?
Yeah, I love him.
Oh, all right. Tony likes you, and Ange likes you, but none of the rest of them like you. The rest of the children, they don't like you.
I
do.
You like him, Leisha, and you like him, Misty, and Esther, you like him, and Ian likes you, and Bill likes you. Well, it turns out they all like you.
Yeah.
He says he likes you too and wants to show you a magic trick. Would you like to see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He says he wants to show you a magic trick with a wand. Now, I've rather unprofessionally forgot to put a wand there. Got my green screen, by the way. It's good. Well, he's a bit.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Okay, so there you go, Robbie. You've got a wand. Now, Robbie, what are you going to... Robbie, don't hit me. Now, what... Ow, stop it. No, stop it. No, don't laugh at him. Don't laugh at him. It makes him do it more. Stop laughing. Stop it. What are you going to do with the wand? You want to go over here. And what you're going to do over here, you're going to... What's that done? He says it's done the magic. Well, I can't see any magic. Can you see any magic?
No.
What magic could that have possibly done? Does anybody know?
Look in the box.
Yeah,
No, we've looked in the box. It's empty. It's already empty, Steph. I've already looked in the box.
Look again.
Look again. Yeah.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What was the colour of the first handkerchief, Robbie?
Red. Yeah, sorry.
The empty box was the blue handkerchief. What was the colour of the second one?
Red.
Empty box. It's the red handkerchief. What was the colour of the third one?
Yellow.
And look, in the empty box, it's the yellow handkerchief. Give Robbie a great big clap. He's such a clever dog. Everyone say night, Robbie.
Night, Robbie. Dominic, can I just ask everybody else?
That's a slightly shorter version of basically the trick that I end on.
Just before you go on,
see from that what we were talking about before. You've got lots of exaggeration. You've got repetition. You've got magician in trouble. and you've got look, no, see. Robbie's doing things that I can't see. Now, thank you all so much for playing along there. When you have got a hall full of 40, 45 kids, or if you do it in a school, even better, and it's a full school assembly, when he's eating those handkerchiefs, they go absolutely bananas.
Dominic, can I jump in? Can you hear me? It's just that a number of questions are coming up in the chat box. I'm sure we can all watch you.
I'm not telling you how I did it. I'm not telling you how.
No, it wasn't that. No. First of all, I still owe you that £1,000. I hope to give it you back at some point. But Minnie's just asking, what's the funniest moment you've had? Because kids say the funniest thing. What sort of funny things have kids said to you when you've been doing your children's shows?
Do you know what? I don't like them speaking because it's all about me. Do you know one of the funniest things actually that happened? It isn't actually a kid who said it. It was a grandma. Actually, grandparents are blooming nightmare at kids' parties. They interrupt your show halfway through to say, why don't you get the birthday kid up? And it's like, well, I'm just doing a blooming introduction, love. But I did a party. I think it was over in Yorkshire. It's been somewhere like Halifax or Huddersfield. And it was a great party. It had gone really, really well. What I do with my parties is I do 45 minutes of games, which I do all the traditional type of games like pass the parcel, musical bumps. I do limbo. I do traditional games because they're traditional for a reason. They work. But I just do a very professional version of it. So I've done that. They love these games. Everyone had danced, had a right laugh, and they'd love the limbo. They'd stop for some food, and then I'd done the 45-minute magic show, and it had just gone perfectly. And I was packing up, and the mum was just over there, and the grandma, who was her mum, went up to her. She went, he was brilliant, Catherine. I'm not joking. He was amazing. He was worth every penny, Catherine. How much was he? She had 165 quid. She went, oh, that's dear.
Dominic, I know that you've become a dad yourself. How much has that influenced your children's entertainment, and do you make your kids laugh?
Do you know what? I think a lot of teachers have this as well, and certainly during homeschooling, which is a blooming. Anyone homeschooling primary school kids? Yeah, Angie's shaking her head as if she's done a survey. No, I've asked everybody, and nobody's done it. It's a nightmare, Angie. It's an absolute nightmare. And I can't control my kids. One of the things I'm really good at is controlling kids' birthday for primary school, and I think it's because I did 5 years as a supply teacher. So I'm reasonably strict with them, but they do as I say. And the amount of times parents afterwards come up to me and say, how do you do it? How do you get 35 kids to do as you say like that? And I've always said, I don't know. I just tell them and they do it. My kids don't. My kids just don't do what I say. And I've got 2 of them at home, and after 10 minutes, I can sit down and think, how do I do 35 kids? How do I control 35 kids? Because I can't control these 2. So controlling my own kids is really hard. As far as making them laugh, though, I can make them laugh just by doing things like being daft, repetition. Great trick. If you've got like a 5-year-old, this always makes 5-year-olds laugh. It really works. If you just say, what's your teacher called? And they might say, you know, Miss Stone. Just repeat the name wrong back to them. And you say, what, Miss Bone? That's a funny name for a teacher. Miss Bone. Is she made out of bones? That's what you got. And then you can do it again and again and again. You can do it 5 or 6 times, just repeating daft things. Miss Own, she always on her own. And I've told comics this little trick to try with their like nephews, and they've gone, all right. Then they've come back to me next time I've seen them at a gig and go, that is unbelievable. They laugh more than anything I've ever laughed at before. So I can make my kids laugh with that, and they do really like the magic show as well. I've done it for my little girl's 4th birthday. I did it for a 5th birthday as well, but it was during lockdown, so there was only my 2 kids in. So they do like the show. So yeah, I can make them laugh, but I can't control them.
We're going to have to very reluctantly move on, but that was absolutely brilliant.
Thanks very much.
I admire Louise all the more when I do these shows, because I've had a load of trouble navigating the chat boxes while I've been doing it. So just to say, Nadeem has put his details about his website in if anybody wants to source more of his poetry. Loads of love coming in for the poets. Sarah, lots of people saying how wonderful you were and how fantastic you read it. And Dom, getting loads of support for you, but people want to know if there's some kind of website address or some kind of link if they want to book Wacky Woody for a children's show.
So yeah, my website is wackywoody.co.uk. I'm based in Ramsbottom, but I work all over Manchester, Sale, Cheshire, and I'll go into Yorkshire, Halifax. I'll go all over. I've not got together a Zoom show, but I'm kind of thinking about it. But now I'm thinking I'm too late. That is literally the first time I've done a magic trick, a kid's magic trick on a webcam.
Very good.
It worked all right, didn't it?
Yeah,
so I might get one of them together. So if you want a Zoom one, I'll probably do it for you, a shorter version. I won't do 45 minutes, it'll be too long. But I'll do a shortened version.
Comment on saying I'd book you for my.
Dom,
is that Andrew who said that?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Doesn't Andrew, Tony? Doesn't Andrew look a bit like it could be Peter Slater's brother, couldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you look like a comic window. Absolutely. Ian has very kindly posted your website in the chat.
Oh, thank you. I was going to do it, but Ian's done it. That's wonderful.
Thank you so much. Please show your appreciation for Dominic Woodward. That was absolutely fantastic. Cheers,
Thanks very much.